Hey gang, it's your buddy Platt back with another Spirit Series video. Today we're going to continue on with rum, and we're going to talk about light rum, also known as silver rum or white rum. All three names mean the same, they're interchangeable, so if you hear one it means, again, the same thing. A good way to think of light rum is it's probably the closest thing in a bottle to what comes off the still when you're producing rum. Obviously, coming off the still, there's no aging of it. You haven't added spices to make spice rum. You haven't added any caramel coloring to make it gold rum. It's just a nice, clear distillate from the base ingredient, which is sugar cane, or more specifically, molasses. There's not a lot of flavor in a light rum besides just a general sweetness. It's a fairly neutral base, again, with just that hint of sweetness, again, coming from the sugar cane. Light rums, however, you can see this is clear. In light rums, silver rums, they're all clear, but most of them get a little bit of aging in wood. It's just not a long time, and even after they're aged, they'll get filtered multiple times, so any color it does pick up kind of gets filtered out. Also, because that most of the flavor that gets brought in from the wood really doesn't make it through the filtration. The wood aging just kind of helps it smooth out. If we were to drink that rum off the still, it would be pretty raw stuff. So even if it just gets a little aging in wood, kind of smooths it out a little bit. A good way to think of light rums and silver rums is it's the vodka of the rum world. Again, we're not picking up any really wood aging. We haven't had time to add spices or any other flavorings, coloring to it. We filtered it several times, and if you remember when we talked about vodka, filtration was a big part of what made it unique, or kind of a quality mark for vodka. Again, we're just looking for a nice clean spirit. Here we want a clean spirit with just a hint of that sugarcane sweetness. A large amount of the light rum in the world is produced in Puerto Rico, and that kind of makes sense. We talk about the Spanish rums, or rums from Spanish-speaking countries, tend to be lighter, smoother rums. Also, a lot of the major rum producers in the world are based in Puerto Rico, close to natural, supply of sugar cane. Also, most of your big brands, their lead rum is some kind of silver or light rum, because it's usually the best-selling style of rum. Due to this lightness, and also just kind of a clean flavor, lighter bodied, with just that general sweetness, light rums are probably most important rum as far as cocktails go. Two of the prime examples of cocktails based with light rum are the pina colada and the mojito. And it makes sense to go with the light rum, even though people will try the rums in those drinks. But you take a drink like a pina colada. If you throw in a dark rum, or even a darker gold rum or whatever, now you're changing the flavor or color of that drink. If you throw in like a spiced rum or something to mojito, again, you're taking away from that mint and that lime that makes that drink unique. So a nice, light, clean rum is perfect in those drinks. Also, silver rums are great in other drinks that may have multiple spirits where you want to use rum in. Think of a Long Island iced tea, between the sheets, anything that has multiple spirits, and you're looking for a rum, but you obviously don't want something, again, like a Gosling's or a Myers dark rum that will dominate any other. If you've got some crazy drink with like vodka, rum, gin, or whatever, well, if you throw in a spiced rum or something like that, it's going to dominate those other spirits. So again, you look for something more complementary, and that would be your silver style rums. The particular light rum we're going to try today is Bacardi Superior, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof. I picked this for a couple different reasons. A, this is probably the first rum most of you out there have ever drank. Definitely, the most popular silver rum out there. Also, too, the Bacardi family in general and their entire line of rums are probably the most important, or at least well-known rums out there. Maybe the important part, maybe a little overstepping, but it's definitely probably the most well-known line of rums out there. So I thought this would be a great way to introduce the Bacardi family. Bacardi, as we know today, was founded in 1862 by Don Facundo Bacardi. He had immigrated from Spain to Cuba and created the distillery and the line. Today, the original plant was in Santiago de Cuba, but today the company's headquartered in Hamilton, Bermuda. Now, most of you may know the story about the Bacardi family starting in Cuba. Then when Castro took over, the family fled and they took their rum company with them. Actually, though, Bacardi had already started moving some of the operations off of Cuba even well before Castro came to power. They already had facilities in Mexico, which they still make. I want to say they make their Bacardi Añejo or the 8 in Mexico. Of course, they moved to Puerto Rico, where the main distillery is at now. I've been to that distillery, beautiful distillery. Very interesting if you go to that. If you've been to other distilleries, we kind of have this romantic thought of distilleries as these big pot stills, or maybe a fancy coffee still, in a nice wooden barn or some kind of whatever. The Bacardi distillery, when you get into the heart of the distillery, it actually looks more like a chemical plant than an actual distillery. But you get off into the grounds, they have a beautiful garden area. They have these great open bars with just every kind of rum you can imagine, and they let you have a few, and it's fun. I'll tell you that. But anyway, they have the facility in Puerto Rico, and then they also had built one at the time in the U.S. Now I believe they just have a bottling facility in the U.S. I don't think they make any of the rum here. So Bacardi had already kind of diversified the company away from Cuba before the revolution, so they lucked out there. Actually, one thing about the Bacardi family, and oddly enough, I don't remember it from the tour. Maybe it had a little too much rum. But Bacardi's not just the line of rum. It's just not the family's own line of rum, and that's it. Bacardi is actually the largest family-owned private spirit company in the world. They've actually taken over several other brands, including Grey Goose, Doors, and they merged with Martini and Rossi. And Martini and Rossi already had a line of products themselves. They're known for their Asti or sparkling wine. They also have a line of vermouths, aperitifs. So Bacardi's a massive company with multiple lines of products. They're not just rum, but we came for the rum. So let's give it a try. On that nose, it reminds me a decent bit about vodka. You just kind of get a little alcohol burn in your nose. There's not picking up a lot of anything else. Let's give it a try. All right, I get some sweet up front. There's not much of a lingering aftertaste. Pretty clean on the palate. Pretty light on the body. In all honesty, this is not something I would sip and swirl for a while or whatever, or drink just on the rocks. This is just sweet alcoholic spirit, for lack of a better term. That being said, I have put gallons of this stuff into Coca-Cola and knocked it back over the years. And again, that's kind of what this is designed for. It's a base to work around other cocktails, throw in some orange juice or multiple kinds of juices, maybe a little orange, a little pineapple, maybe splash a little grenadine, shake her all up. This would be great with that. Like I said, just a nice clean spirit overall. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.